feeling like your website's just shouting into the void on Google. Like no matter what you try, you're stuck on page, what is it, like page 30. What if I told you most of the SEO advice out there is missing 2 super crazy simple tricks that could basically double your traffic, like in a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, stick with us, because we're gonna dig into these overlooked SEO secrets that maybe, just maybe, the gurus don't want you to know.
Oh, absolutely.
But before we spill the beans, make sure you hit those links in the description below. Amazing offers down there that can really help you put these ideas into action.
Yeah, for real.
So today, we're talking about how to hit that #1 spot on Google. And we're thinking, what, 30 days?
30 days?
Using 2 SEO techniques that, honestly, most people just neglect.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, right? And our mission, it's pretty simple. We want to give you some really straightforward, actionable strategies to get you some serious SEO wins. And the best part, you don't need to be some kind of, coding wizard to make it happen.
No, not at all.
So we're going to be talking about updating your content, making it fresh, and then the other side of the coin, getting rid of all that, digital junk that's just weighing your site down.
Spring cleaning.
The stuff that's just, taking up space and not doing anything for you.
Totally.
Yeah. It's amazing how many website owners, they're out there, they're chasing all these complicated SEO strategies, right?
Yeah.
Spending hours and hours, but they're not seeing results.
Yeah.
And it's like the real power moves are right there in front of them.
It is, and it's it's really fascinating because they're spending all this time and they're not getting the results. And it's but the things that actually work are actually pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's the basics done well.
Right.
It's trying to win a race in a car that looks amazing but doesn't have any engine.
Oh yeah, you got the paint job, but you forgot the engine.
Yeah, you forgot the engine. So these 2 techniques, they're all about making sure your site has that engine.
Yeah.
So we heard this story about Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? She's a small business owner.
Yep.
Spent thousands on consultants who were promising her the world.
Promising her the moon.
Backlinks, all these fancy code tweaks.
Yeah, yeah.
And nothing.
Crickets.
Crickets, right. Then she tries these simpler methods and boom, her site goes from page 3 of Google to the top.
In what, 3 weeks?
Less than a month. It's incredible.
Incredible.
No technical wizardry needed. It's come on. Makes you wonder, right? What are these gurus selling?
Yeah, are they all smoke and mirrors?
Exactly.
Because this really highlights a key point, I think, which is that these aren't, secrets only, a select few know, right?
Yeah.
These are things that everyone can know, should know, but they often overlook them. It's really interesting in a world where we have so much advice about, what emoji to use in your title tag and what shade of blue your call to action should be. We're missing these core foundational things. It's like when you clean out your closet, sometimes the best thing you can do is just get rid of a bunch of stuff,
right,
and fold the rest nicely.
Yeah.
So, why are these seemingly obvious things, why are they suddenly so powerful?
Yeah, I mean, Google's been around since dial-up was a thing. What's changed?
Yeah, well, I think if we think about Google in terms of its evolution,
okay,
right? Early Google, I mean, you could kind of trick it.
Yeah.
You could stuff keywords in there. You could do some shady linking.
Yeah.
But Google's gotten smarter.
Yeah.
I mean, with updates like Panda and BERT, Google can actually judge whether content is good or not, whether it answers the searcher's question.
Right.
Now Google cares about user experience. How fresh is your information? Is your site a healthy place for people to visit?
It's like Google grew up.
Yeah, it matured.
It went from SEO kindergarten to college.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't trick it anymore.
Right.
You gotta actually play by the rules now.
So it's less about trying to outsmart Google and more about giving Google and the people who use it what they want.
Exactly.
Which is useful current information on a website that's actually pleasant to use.
Right. And the 2 techniques we're going to talk about today, they really hit on those key things that Google cares about now.
Yeah.
They show Google that your site is well maintained, it has fresh information, and it's a good experience for users.
Okay, I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, cool.
So the first technique we're talking about, this is strategic content updates and repurposing. Now, I got to be honest, when I first heard update your old content, my first thought was wait a minute, isn't that like admitting defeat? Like saying the thing I wrote 2 years ago wasn't good enough?
No. I mean, think of it more like polishing a diamond, right? Why would you let this valuable content that you've created just sit there and gather dust when it has the potential to like really shine? You know, a lot of websites, they fall into this trap of like publish and ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Right. They're so busy creating new stuff that their old content just kind of fades away.
Right. They're on that content hamster wheel.
Right. Always running, always creating.
But like, what about all that good content you've already got?
Exactly. And I think that's why a lot of people neglect this. There's something really exciting about publishing something brand new.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, new content. But constantly chasing that new content high, it actually makes your older stuff perform worse.
Okay, so how do we breathe some life back into these old posts?
So there are a few things you can do. The first is content refreshing.
Okay.
And this is all about going back to your older posts and basically updating them. Add new information, new stats, new insights. Like, remember that post about email marketing tactics? That went from page 9 to page 2 of Google just from being updated.
So it's not just like slapping a new date on it.
No. You got to actually add value.
Got it.
Like, if you wrote about the best cat videos of 2022, you'd update it with the best cat videos of 2024.
Right, and maybe analyze like why they're so good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make it actually more useful. So then we have format transformation, which is basically repurposing.
Okay.
So take a blog post that did really well and turn it into a video or an infographic or even like a podcast episode.
Right.
Like, remember that social media analytics guide that became a super popular infographic?
Uh-huh.
That extended the life of that content. It got shared more. It even got some backlinks naturally without having to go out and beg for them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're reaching a new audience and potentially getting some like SEO juice from those backlinks.
Exactly. And finally, there's content consolidation. This is where you take like a bunch of shorter articles that are all related, but they're not performing that well individually.
Okay.
And you merge them together into one big comprehensive guide.
Right. So instead of having like a bunch of little breadcrumbs, you've got one big loaf of bread.
Exactly. And this is good for a couple of reasons. One, it concentrates your ranking signals. And two, it provides a more valuable resource for your users.
Got it. And all of these things, they send a signal to Google that your content is fresh and relevant, which Google loves, right?
Yeah.
Especially for topics that are constantly changing.
Yes, absolutely. Google loves fresh content, especially when it's clear that you put effort into keeping it up to date. So now let's move on to the other side of our power duo here.
Okay, hit me.
This is all about taking care of those zombie pages.
Zombie pages, that sounds like kind of spooky.
Yeah, it's a little dramatic, but it's important.
Okay, so what are zombie pages exactly?
So these are the pages on your website that, well, they're not really doing anything for you. They're low quality. They're not getting any traffic. They're basically just wasting space, and they could actually be hurting your rankings.
Okay, so they're like digital squatters.
Exactly.
Just hanging around, not paying rent.
Right. They're like, those old clothes in your closet that you haven't worn in years.
But you just can't bring yourself to throw them away.
Right, but they're just taking up space.
So why do so many websites have these zombie pages?
Well, I think it's a few things. First, people are often afraid to delete pages. They think that more pages always equals better, even if the pages aren't good. It's that more is better mentality.
Right.
And second, I think it can be hard to let go of content that you've created, even if it's not performing well.
Yeah, you put your heart and soul into it.
Right. But the truth is, these zombie pages can really drag your site down. They dilute your authority, and they make it harder for Google to crawl and index your good content.
Okay, so they're actually making things worse.
Yeah.
Got it. So how do we identify these zombies and get rid of them?
So the first step is to audit your site. Go through your analytics and find the pages that are getting almost no traffic, have high bounce rates, low time on page, and aren't converting visitors into customers.
Okay.
Like, remember that audit we did where 40% of a client's blog posts had fewer than 10 visits in 6 months?
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of zombie pages.
That's the zombie apocalypse.
Right. So once you've identified the zombies, the next step is to, get rid of them.
Just delete them.
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that.
Okay.
You want to make sure that you're deleting the right pages and that you're doing it in a way that doesn't hurt your SEO.
Got it.
So you want to delete things like thin content, outdated product pages, redundant posts, anything that's not really serving a purpose.
Okay.
And when you delete a page, you want to make sure to redirect it to a relevant, high-quality page.
A 301 redirect, right?
Exactly. This helps preserve the link equity of the old page, and it also makes sure that visitors don't hit a dead end.
So you're not just throwing the page away, you're like recycling it.
Right. And this is something that a lot of people don't do, and it's really important. Like, remember that financial advice site that redirected their old tax software reviews to their comparison page?
Yeah.
That helped boost their rankings significantly.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about why these techniques work, but like, do we have any data to back it up?
Oh, yeah. Tons.
Because data speaks louder than words.
Absolutely. So the Content Marketing Institute found that websites that update their existing content see a 50 to 100% increase in organic traffic.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's a lot of traffic.
And SEMrush found that pages updated in the last 30 days are 2.5 times more likely to rank in the top 3 search results.
So Google really does reward freshness.
They do. And RFs found that sites that reduce their page count by 15 to 30% see an average ranking improvement of 28%.
So less is more.
It can be. And HubSpot found that repurposed content gets 8 times more engagement and 3 times more backlinks.
That's incredible.
And finally, Search Engine Journal found that sites with fewer than 20% low-performing pages have 61% higher rankings on average.
So those zombie pages are really holding you back.
They are.
Okay, I'm convinced. So what are the steps to actually implement these techniques? Let's start with content updates and repurposing.
Sure. So first, you need to audit your content. Look at your Google Analytics and find the pages that are getting the least amount of traffic, but that you know have potential.
Okay.
Then you need to prioritize your updates. Focus on the pages that are targeting valuable keywords but aren't ranking well yet.
Got it.
When you update a page, make sure you do it thoroughly. Update the information, add new sections, beef up the examples, improve the visuals.
Nate, good.
Exactly. And once you've made significant improvements, update the publication date.
Okay.
Then repurpose your content. Create videos, infographics, slideshows, podcast episodes, whatever makes sense for your audience. And make sure to cross-link your different content formats. So if you make a video based on a blog post, embed the video in the blog post and link back to the blog post from the video description.
Got it.
And finally, track your results. See what's working and what's not.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what about pruning zombie pages?
Okay, so first you need to do a content inventory. Make a list of every page on your website and track their performance metrics.
Okay.
Then you need to establish criteria for what you consider an underperforming page. This could be based on traffic, engagement, conversions, whatever's important to you.
Got it.
Then make decisions based on the data. Keep the pages that are performing well, update the ones that have potential, consolidate the ones that are similar, and delete the ones that are just dead weight.
Okay.
When you delete a page, make sure to redirect it to a relevant page. This is super important.
301 redirect.
Yep. And update your internal linking structure to remove any links to the deleted pages.
Okay.
And finally, monitor your crawl efficiency and document all of your changes.
So these techniques, they're pretty simple in theory, but it sounds like there are a lot of nuances to implementing them effectively.
There are, but the good news is they're not that difficult to learn, and they can have a huge impact on your SEO.
Okay, so what about the future?
You mean the future of SEO?
Yeah, like, are these techniques going to be important in the future, or are they just a fad?
Oh, they're definitely going to be important in the future. In fact, I think they're going to become even more important.
Why is that?
Well, because Google is constantly evolving, and their algorithms are getting better and better at understanding what users want. And what users want is high quality, relevant, and fresh content. And these techniques are all about providing that.
Okay, so they're future-proof.
Exactly. And the great thing about these techniques is that they're accessible to everyone. You don't need a big budget or a team of experts to implement them. You can do it yourself.
So what you're saying is that while everyone else is out there chasing the latest SEO trends, we can be focusing on these fundamentals and getting ahead of the game.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's not just about getting ahead of the game. It's about building a sustainable SEO strategy that will work for years to come.
Okay, I'm sold. So to sum it all up, the secret to ranking #1 on Google in 30 days is to focus on these 2 overlooked techniques: strategic content updates, and pruning zombie pages.
Exactly.
It's about quality over quantity, it's about relevance over redundancy, and it's about giving Google and your users what they want.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
So, what are you waiting for? Go out there, audit your content, and start implementing these techniques today.
Yeah, what zombie pages are lurking on your site? What content can you breathe new life into?
And don't forget to check out the links in the description below for amazing offers that can help you on your SEO journey.
Then let us know how it goes. We love hearing success stories.
We do.